Hello, this is MadLove44 here, and welcome to another video. This is going to be my review on Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 10, also entitled The Winds of Winter, and oh my god, was this episode great. I absolutely loved it. The whole episode was fantastic. I have one problem with the episode, but I'll get to that when I get to it. But this episode was absolutely fantastic. All of it was great. Like, I don't know what else to say. I'm just so blown away by it. I'm speechless. It was that good, and it's definitely been one of the best episodes that's been in a while. I mean, I'm not sure if that's just because I'm hyped straight after watching it, but I'm blown away. I'm amazed by the great quality of this episode and how great it is to continue on from the last week's episode, which was obviously great as well. I actually think this week's episode was better than last week's. Or at least that's how I feel now. I might change my mind in the future, but I definitely think that this episode was better than last week's episode. And, yeah. I mean, all of the scenes were great. The acting was fantastic. The special effects were fantastic. Everything was fantastic. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it. And that's odd. It's been one of the best episodes in a while. I mean, except for last week, this is like one of the best episodes that we've had since back in season 4, where we got some absolutely fantastic episodes. I do have a couple of things with this episode, but I think they're little issues. They're logic issues rather than actual issues with the storytelling. It does annoy me a little bit, but it doesn't matter because it's made up for by the rest of the episode. So yeah, let's get right into the breakdown. So we start off with the getting ready for the trial, Cersei's trial, that is. We also get Loras's trial. The music in the background at this point was fantastic. It was really, really atmospheric, really set the scene, and I really enjoyed it. Pycelle is told something by a little kid, or by one of Qyburn's whisperers, one of his little birds, as Varys used to call him. Loras admits to his crimes and becomes one with the faith, and the Tyrells obviously aren't happy, and they don't find this very good. You can see that in Mace's face, and in Margaery as well. Now, Gregor stops Tommen from leaving the Sept, and the Red Keep, and I instantly thought, that's it, Cersei's going to blow it up, and I knew that was going to happen. But still, we get Pycelle killed by the little birds. Like in Dance with Dragons, he is killed by the birds, except it's for Varys instead of Qyburn. But it doesn't really matter, he's still killed, and that's all that really matters. Now Loras finds the wildfire underneath the Sept and is stabbed, and so he tries to stop it. He's the only person that can. Margaery actually figures it out. She figures out that something's going to happen, something's wrong, and she tries to get everyone out. But the High Septon, or the High Sparrow, stops her from evacuating everyone out of the Sept. And then the Sept explodes in a plume of wildfire, a bit like back in season 2 when the ships exploded, and you see that the High Sparrow really dissolve into nothingness. And as I said before, the special effects in this scene were fantastic, and the smile on Cersei's face as she saw it was amazing. We then get Septa Unella being tortured by Cersei, and Cersei's gone full on mad. She's lost her mind. You can see that in the way she tortures Septa Unella. She's gone absolutely crazy with the deaths of her 2 children and her father. And to make matters worse, everyone is now dead. Like, when Tommen was looking out at the smoke, all I could think about was, everyone's dead. Like, I was thinking, Kevin? Yeah, he's dead. The Grand Maester, he's dead. Mace Tyrell, he's dead. The Queen, she's dead. And then that leads, obviously Tommen is thinking the same thing as me in that situation. Everyone's gone. And that leads him to commit suicide. Which obviously, he loved Margaery, and that's been taken away from him. And the scene is great as it lingers there while he goes away to put his crown down, and then he just falls. And it's quite emotional. Nothing needs to be said. I think that scene was great. It was really really good. We go to the twins, and Jaime talks about how the people are only scared of the Lannisters, not the Freys. So if there are more uprisings, the Lannisters are just going to ignore it and let them get on with it. Sam arrives at the Citadel, and we see the white ravens flying out and signifying that winter has come. Gilly obviously can't go into the library. When Sam goes into the library, it looks absolutely amazing. It looks absolutely fantastic. I wish I was there. It looks absolutely amazing. The golden ornaments on the ceiling, the clock. I assume it's a clock. It's sort of an astronomy sort of thing. It looked fantastic, and I can't wait to see more of the Citadel next season. It's going to be really good to see. Now we get Davos confronting Mel, and this is some fantastic acting from both Davos and Mel. They really worked well together. Davos calls for Mel to be killed. He asks for her execution, but instead, Jon, being the nice guy that he is, obviously Mel did resurrect him, so he just exiles her instead, which is going to be interesting because she's an old woman. Where she's going to go, we don't know. Perhaps back to Asshai, or perhaps down south and help other people. Perhaps she'll interact with the Brotherhood, meet Thoros and Myr, perhaps. But I definitely think she'll be there for that last battle. I reckon she'll be there helping, or maybe being killed. I don't know, but I definitely think she'll be there in the War for the Dawn. Now Sansa recognises her mistakes by not telling Jon about Littlefinger's army. And this is a great scene. You can really see great chemistry between Sophie Turner and Kit Harington. It was fantastic. Great acting again. These scenes are just really great. The characters really work together in all of the scenes in this whole episode. It was really fantastic. We then get to Dawn, and Olenna is there, and she shuts down the Sand Snakes, which was pretty great. But she seems to teleport again from Highgarden to Dawn instantly, and she knows what's happened in King's Landing. Because like the timings this whole series have been kind of off, with people getting from here to there, like the Sand Snakes being on the ship, Theon suddenly getting to Yara. People have been teleporting all over the place. But if we go past that, I'm sure that's fine. Varys then turns up. We saw him leaving in episode 7 or 8, and I can kind of believe the fact that he got there, maybe. And now the Tyrells and the Martells and the Targaryens are all going to now be fighting against the Lannisters. Perhaps the Starks will be siding with the Targaryens too, with obviously Daenerys coming, because Varys says the words fire and blood, the words of the Targaryens. The Martells obviously are working with Varys and have been working with Varys for a while, and Olenna obviously agrees to work with them too after what's happened to her children and her grandchildren in King's Landing. Now we get quite a funny joke from Daenerys calling Daario a mistress, and it would be quite cool to see that, but he's obviously being left to rule Meereen and the Bay of Dragons, it's now called. And Tyrion is made Hand of the Queen, which he did pretty well as last time he was Hand of the King. So I reckon he's going to do a good job. That's it. Then we get Walder Frey's comeuppance. He is killed by Arya, and this scene was really great. It was only like 2 minutes long, but it was still fantastic. I mean, like I said earlier with the teleporting, she gets there pretty quickly, but not that quickly. I mean, if you think, we haven't seen her for a couple of episodes. We haven't seen her since episode 8, so I reckon she could have got there. They still haven't sorted out her wounds, but I don't know. But still, it was a fantastic scene to see that happen, with another name ticks off her list. Now, Sansa is in the Godswood with Littlefinger, and we find out what Littlefinger wants, and he wants the Iron Throne, but he also wants Sansa, so everything he does is for that. Why that required him to turn the Lannisters and the Starks against each other, I guess that was to gain the Iron Throne, because he knows the houses will tear each other apart. Now, Benjen leaves Bran and Meera due to the magic protections on the wall that protect the dead from going through. Obviously, we've talked about Bran's mark that he has that broke the protections on the caves. If he does cross the wall, perhaps those protections will stop protecting the wall, and the White Walkers will be able to bring it down and get through. And see, Bran goes back to the Tower of Joy by touching the weirwood tree that Jon has been to so many times. I think that's another important thing that we've got to consider. Jon took his vows for the Night's Watch under there. He burnt Ygritte under that tree. Sam killed a White Walker under that tree. A lot of stuff has happened by that tree. So I think we've got to consider that as well. So Lyanna is dying due to her childbirth. And we get the famous line, "Promise me, Ned," which book readers have been racking their minds around since the books first came out. That's the only thing that Ned can remember of his sister. Obviously, it's the last thing that she said to him, and he's haunted by that. And then we get Arthur Selleck was Jay confirmed. Jon is having a big talk, a big conference, I guess, with all the Lords of the North. They're getting a bit rowdy. Lyanna takes control, stating that the North remembers, and then Wyman Manderly agrees, and they all sort of get up, and we get the King of the North 2.0, is what I'm going to be calling it, because it's sort of parallels the same scene where Robb was named King in the North, except it's not in like a tent in the middle of nowhere. They're actually at Winterfell. But it was a great scene, really, really emotional to see that happen again. Littlefinger's not happy with this deal, obviously. And then we get Jaime arriving back in King's Landing for Cersei's crowning. He's not going to be happy about what she did with the Sept. He's definitely not going to be happy with that. And now that all of Cersei's kids are dead, it's time for her to die. And the Valonqar will wrap his hands around your throat and squeeze the life from you, I believe is the quote. The Maggie the Frog says, not in the show but in the books. So perhaps Jaime will do a Kingslayer move on Cersei next season, perhaps. We get Dany setting sail, and this was the one bit of the episode that really annoyed me, as I didn't understand why Varys was on that ship at the front. However, I have been talking with my friends about the episode, and apparently I missed it. There were some Martell and some Tyrell ships there as well. So perhaps some of their ships have been taken to the west to help out Daenerys. Apparently that's what I'm being told. But like, apparently they're hard to see, but they are there in the background. I mean, I did see some yellow ships, so they might be Martell ships. So apparently Varys managed to get back to Marine that quickly because it's actually set a week after the events of King's Landing. So I did have a big rant set up about how annoyed I was that this scene had been included, but apparently I didn't see it personally, but I trust my friends here on this one, and yeah, so that makes a lot more sense than it did when I was watching it. So yeah, this episode was absolutely fantastic, and I really can't wait for next season, even though it's going to be in like a year. There's so much good stuff that's going to happen, setting off right from the bat after this episode. It's not like any cliffhangers like there was in a season 5, which was bad, but this episode has definitely been one of the best of the entire show, and that King's Landing scene at the beginning was absolutely fantastic, and I really can't wait for the next season. So anyway, if you are new to the channel and you like my content, please check out some of my other videos. Like this video too, please, if you don't mind. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.